Alright, this is the last assignment involving our still life project. So I already have the still life from section 6 open, so go ahead and open your still 6 project, and we're going to be making some changes to that. First of all, we're going to go to File and Save As, put this in our section 7 folder, and we're going to call this still 7. And hit save. And next, we're going to open up our layers panel and make sure, let's drag this down, make sure all the layers are locked if they're not already, and then select your table layer so that we can add another layer above that. And this one's going to be called Tablecloth. Above current would be great. And then we have Tablecloth layer here above our table layer. And with our tablecloth layer selected, I'm going to go ahead and hide all these other layers for now while we draw on our tablecloth. And for our tablecloth, again, my tablecloth layer is selected. I'm going to grab my Bezier tool, and I'm going to go to a point that's a little left of center on the front edge of my table. I'm going to, I'll zoom in just a little bit here. I'm going to click at the bottom edge, left of center again, of my table. So right about here, and then holding Control, I'm going to go up to this top edge, click again. Then I'm going to go back into the left a little bit and click again, and then I'm going to continue, and I'm going to go around. I want to go just slightly outside my table edges, just so I know that it's all covered, because I don't want any table showing from underneath my tablecloth. And so work your way all the way around until you get back to the starting point. And at this point you should have something that looks similar to this. Next, we're going to fill that tablecloth with some color. So under Object, we're going to open our Fill and Stroke panel. We're going to select Flat Color here to fill our object with some color. And you can make this whatever color you want, as long as it's really, really, really light. So I'm going to kind of try and make, ooh, that was the color I was going for, a nice kind of coral color to go with my background. So whatever, it has to be a nice light color though, so pick a color. Now we're going to add some shadow to our tablecloth by going over here and grabbing the rectangle tool. We're still on our tablecloth layer, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle over the top of my tablecloth, but it shouldn't go over it. So you might have to make some adjustments if it's a little big. There we go. So then with that rectangle selected, we're going to make it a little darker than the color that we currently have. And let's see, my instructions say click and drag the lightness slider arrows to the left to make it darker. We need to click and drag the blur slider to about 10 and the opacity slider to about 60. So I want to make it a little darker than what my color is. My blur slider should be at 10 and my opacity should be at 60. So about like that, and I can see a little overlap of my shadow there, so I want to make sure it's all on my table and darken it up just a little bit, just so it looks like you can tell where the edge of the table is on the tablecloth. So about like that. So once you have that completed, go ahead and go back to your layers panel, and you can turn everything back on and lock your tablecloth layer. And next we're going to add a sort of glinting light to the leftmost glass object. So for me, the way my table is arranged, that would be my decanter. So I'm going to unlock my decanter layer. If your glass is more to the left, then unlock your glass layer. Come over here and grab your star button or the polygon tool, and then make sure the star button is selected. We're going to up our corners to 7. And then it says to set the spoke ratio field to 0.090. So spoke ratio should be 0.090. Okay, Okay, and then it says on the canvas at the top left of the object on the layer you unlocked, click and drag to draw a star. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. And I'm going to click and drag to draw my star. And I don't see anything. Oh, but that's because my tablecloth layer was selected, so make sure you select the layer you plan to change. Click and drag to draw a star. We're going to go back to our fill and stroke panel to make that star white by dragging everything over as far to the right. And then it says to use the select tool to resize the star to make it wider than it is tall. So I want my star wider than it is tall, so about like that. Move the star to the top left corner of the leftmost glass object. So if it's your picture, it should go about right there. And I should have full opacity at this point, but I think we're going to adjust that. Okay, press and hold the control key while you click and drag the resize arrows to change the star to the size you want. So get the star to the size that you would like it. And then drag the blur slider somewhere between 1 and 10. So I'm going to put mine at 5. And click and drag the opacity slider somewhere between 50 and 90. So adjust these sliders however you would like until you get your glint the way you like it. And when you're done, it should look similar to this on the leftmost glass on your page, like so. Next, we're going to add a title to our book using the text tool. So go back to your layers panel. You can minimize your fill and stroke, lock your decanter, and unlock your book layer. And then with our book layer selected, we're going to go and I'm going to zoom in a little more on my book here. But we're going to go to our toolbar and grab our text tool. Then on the canvas, click the spine of the book and then type 1 or 2 words. So whatever you want to name this book, think of your favorite book and name it whatever that is. But just keep in mind, the longer the name, the more you're going to have to resize your text. So, but you can name it whatever you'd like. I'm going to name mine. Oops. Let's try that again. I'm going to name mine Hunger Games because that's the last series that I read. So you might have to resize this, and let's see if it'll even, maybe it didn't even take my, I have to size it down first before, there it is. So I make a little bigger than that. Let's try 13. Okay, let's make this all one size. How about? So get it to a size that you know will be able to fit on your book spine. We're putting this on the spine, not on the cover. And then go ahead and choose a font that you like. So get it to a good size to fit on your spine and then choose a font. We'll go with that one for me. And then you're going to move and rotate the text until it fits on the spine. So with your selection tool, you can slide it down and rotate it until it fits just right on the spine of our book. Looks pretty good. Then you can go back to your fill and stroke panel and you could change the color of it if you'd like, or resize it however you want. Just so it looks just right. So just be adjusting those colors until you get the text just how you want it. And once you have the name of your book on there, go ahead and zoom back out and take kind of one last look over everything to make sure everything's arranged just how you want it. And once you have things arranged how you like it, go ahead and save that. So it should be still 7. And now we're going to add in some filters, but we're going to name this something else so we don't ruin or save over the top. So we're going to name this still 7_filters while we add some filters on. So resave it to still 7_filters. And first we're going to go back into our layers menu, and let's lock our book layer and unlock our table layer. Select the top of the table with the select tool, and then click the filters menu, then click materials and 3D wood or another filter. So the filters menu, materials, and then you can choose out of these filters whatever you'd like to apply to your table. So 3D wood is an option, your text says, or if you don't like that, you can go through and kind of experiment with some different filters in this category. Let's see, I might try, maybe I have a marble table. Oh, but I didn't undo my last filter first. So go ahead again, go into your filters menu and just kind of experiment with some different filters to apply to your table. So then whatever filter you decide to apply to the top of the table, make sure you apply that same filter then to the front of our table. Next we're going to texture the tablecloth, so go ahead and turn your guides off. Lock your table layer and unlock your tablecloth layer. And your computer might be getting a little slow just because this file is getting so big now that we're applying these filters to it. So under filters, go to overlays and select a filter out of here. Your text celeste frost or rubber stamp might look good, but you can select any filter that you would like. I think this frost one looks kind of cool, so I'm going to go with that one. Then you can go ahead and lock that back up and unlock your background. So now we're going to apply a filter to our background, and your text says go back to overlay, and it suggests blue cheese or garden of delights. Either of those filters might look good, so test those out and find one that you like. So I decided to go with the oil slick overlay. I think that looks kind of cool. Okay, and then that is, make sure you look everything over and you like what you see. If not, make any adjustments that you would like to. So you should be combining this. This is your still 7_filters file. You should be combining this one with your plain regular still 7 and the other assignment that we made for section A. So you should have 3 files zipped together, or 3 projects zipped together for this one assignment submission.